Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. So in this video we're going to talk about the exciting news that Palantir launched a satellite into space, which is a bit of a misleading news. So we're going to make sense of that and why they did that. And there is awesome news coming out of Europe, and it looks like Palantir is blowing up in Europe, and we suspected that this would happen because of the Russian attack on Ukraine. And we're gonna go all into this right after you subscribe. So I wait for you here. Anyways, thanks for being here. So the way we're going to go through this is I'm going to show you an article and then a video that has been done with the CEO of Palantir. So on 1st of April, Palantir and State Logic launched our first Edge AI-enabled satellite into space as part of a SpaceX Transporter 4 mission. Basically, where it's a little bit of fake news is that it's not Palantir's satellite. It's State Logic, I can't say their name. It's their satellite, and Palantir is basically a passenger on the satellite. And in this video that I'm going to show you, it's going to explain why this is good and amazing. Actually, it's quite like black magic. And then we're going to go over, in the same interview, he's going to go over what's happening in Europe. And I think it's fantastic news. And if you're a Palantir investor, you're not going to want to miss it. So here we go.
So what exactly is this satellite doing right now?
Well, thank you for having me back, Emily. So, we are so excited to have our Edge AI technology in the satellite bus of a Satellogic NewSat satellite. And what this allows us to do is quickly move AI models right next to the satellite's camera itself. So you think about the pictures we're taking, the video that you can get from space, these are massive files. And it takes so long to bring that data down to Earth. And it really introduces tremendous latency in terms of how long it takes you to leverage insights that are happening in the real world. Given that downlink delay. By moving the AI inferencing to space, you can do that in seconds, and you can get the information down to Earth in less than a minute, and that is a fundamental game changer.
So in case you're not a techie, so what he was saying is basically there is certain applications, for example, let's say military applications, right? And let's say that you're over the Russian-Ukraine border, and then you see Russian tanks in the border, and then you want to know what is happening with these tanks, right? So previously what was happening is you have a satellite, it's taking terabytes of pictures, I don't know exactly how it works, and then it has to send it back down to Earth, which introduces a lot of latency. It depends on the bandwidth, and maybe the satellite moves, and then the data gets processed somewhere else, and then on Earth, an AI is, giving you the data. But now, instead, what happens is you take the satellite, it looks down, it sees that the Russian tanks are moving, and then there is no lag because the data is not being sent to Earth. And then Palantir's AI in the satellite is saying, okay, now the generals need to be notified, and then they just send down the information that, okay, this is what happened on the border without all the massive data. So it's quite revolutionary.
Can you share some examples of what will improve because you have this capability?
When we move, so commercial space has exploded over the last decade now. We are drowning in collection. But if you think about it from, say, for example, a military commander's perspective, they're not interested in saying, when can I get the next picture over this region, perhaps a region in the Ukraine or Russia. They want to know how many tanks are there, how many transport erector launchers are there. They have mission questions, and how often can I revisit that? I need that information every hour. And with this capability, you can now reduce all of that latency to provide real-time insights that provide real deterrence, as we've seen in the conflict in Ukraine, and real insight into what's happening in the world. This
is fantastic, right? So here the fake news is that it's not Palantir satellite. Again, Palantir is piggyback riding on a satellite. It's really black magic technology, and really it gives you a competitive edge if you're an army. There is other applications. For example, they can real-time monitor where there is a risk of wildfires, and then they can notify that, okay, in California, in these regions, like probably within the next 2 hours is going to be wildfires, or the wildfire is going to spread here. So it's really amazing. And now the next one, they're going to speak about the Ukraine-Russia conflict and how they're helping. And I believe that he's giving fantastic insight about how they got way more customers and way more business from Europe. And this has been a tough spot. If you remember the Q4 earnings call, Europe was not a bright spot for them, and they were really trying to debug that. And it's fantastic how when the war broke out, the stock price was going down, even though us smart investors and hopefully you knew that this would be a catalyst for the company. So let's see what he has to say about that.
The war on Ukraine has sparked backlash against Russia's continued dominance in space, and you've got a lot of companies looking for partners as a result. Has Palantir seen any new business because of that?
We have really mobilized our entire company against the invasion in Ukraine and the consequences of that.
He said, we have really mobilized our whole company against the invasion in Ukraine. I had to watch this 3 times, and just, he doesn't answer the question if this has given them more business, but just listen to the stuff that he's saying and think if they would have had this had there not been an invasion.
In many ways, we believe this situation was foreseeable. And at the time of our listing, we talked quite publicly about how we would not work with the Russian government and actually with Russian companies, given the overall context there. But now our software is being used to power refugee operations from Romania, Poland, Lithuania, across all of Europe. I've talked before about how supply chain is really a software problem. And our software here is helping, just like we do with the World Food Program, it's helping match all of the goods that are coming in, the beds that are available, everything that's coming from the hands of the donors to the hands of the refugees and those who need it, and doing that as efficiently and effectively as possible, given the incredible scale, millions and millions of refugees that need help in this moment. Similarly, we are helping commercial companies with their supply chains. There are a lot of automotive parts that are made in Ukraine. We've helped BMW ensure the continuity of their Munich facilities and production plans by dynamically changing their production plans to respond to the changing supply chain shocks that are occurring. And of course, most obviously, we have been deeply involved in helping with the military response, not just in the US, but across European nations who...
Again, I had to watch this 3 times. He said, we have been deeply involved in the military response, not just in the US. I'm actually going to play this again.
Been deeply involved in helping with the military response, not just in the US, but across European nations who are on a fundamentally different footing from a defense and security posture since the invasion.
Can't wait for that Q1 earnings call, guys. I believe this is a huge catalyst for the stock. Okay, but I'll shut up and let's see what he has to say.
How are you helping them?
We're helping them gain insight into what's happening on the ground. A lot of that is coming from space. A lot of that's coming from reports that are happening through different fused information sources. There's a lot that's happening on social media right now that gives you fundamental insight and helping drive coordination around the logistics. And a lot of that plays into refugee operations. How many folks are we expecting? How do we plan for the capacity of the folks that we need to provide housing for, bedding for? There are an enormous number of orphans, I'm sad to say, that we're helping provide housing and shelter for as they come across the border.
Awesome. So this was the video, or the important parts from this video. I'm really happy to be investing in Palantir, and I hope to be buying more shares. And unfortunately, it does look like, based on the Fed announcement yesterday, that they spooked the market and there's going to be another downturn, but it's just another opportunity for us long-time investors to add to our positions and support this fantastic company. So thank you for watching. I hope you have subscribed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.